Okay. Hear me out on this, Pinewood.
Okay.
So we've been talking about doing some leather working.
Right.
What says we make our own belts?
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. We only punch 3 holes. And we call it Orion's belts. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Remember all the kickers in high school? They had their names on the back of their leather belts?
Yeah.
What if everyone we sold, regardless of who bought it, we just had Orion on the back?
Says Orion.
That's it. So it's got Orion's
That's
belt.
our brand.
That's
This
our
the
brand.
entire backside of it
Yeah.
is Orion's.
Yeah. It's only got 3 holes.
You know it'd be better if it said kick it.
Well, hey, out there, to all my lovely internet creatures, critters, and vagabonds, if you love wasting time while you're at work, ignoring family responsibilities, and barely scraping by on the absolute least amount of effort possible, then I want to tell you, you found the right podcast, my friends. This is Fraternize with These Guys. I am your humble, beloved, kind, and caring Pastor Pinewood. And as always, across from this tiny podcasting table, the complete and total opposite of everything that I am, your other host.
Easy.
Bro, here we are in the doghouse.
Yes.
Episode 59, man.
59.
59. Coming up on that big 6-0.
Yeah.
It makes me feel proud and also a little old.
Yeah. Like Neil Old.
Exactly. Like Neil Old. Dude, I thought about it after last week's discussion. Mm-hmm. So when you had the old guy that's like yelling at people to get off his grass.
Yep.
Neil Young's yelling at Joe Rogan to get off his grass.
Get off my Spotify! Old codger.
How much do you want to bet that somebody had to explain to Neil Young what Spotify was?
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost. So
Yeah, definitely.
So
You mean it's not on a record?
So what do you mean Joe Rogan's not on the radio? How's he famous then?
How does he even get famous if you're not on the radio?
Mr. Young, let me tell you about the internet. Let me
Mr.
explain
Old.
this. Mr. Old. Well, let me tell you, you kind of brought up the leather working.
Yeah.
And it makes for a good joke.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think it's something we're probably going to have to do.
Yeah. So we had discussed this the other night.
Yep.
And with the fact that we've got the forge
Right.
in the works.
That's right. It's coming.
So we've got some of the stuff. We've got 2 different forges.
Right.
And then we got an anvil.
Found an anvil.
We have an anvil in possession.
Yep. Not a big one. I mean, it's not like one of the great big ones, but it is a workable anvil that we
Not about the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean. I tell my wife that daily.
Yeah, I bet you tell her that. I bet
Yep.
that's true.
So we've got all
It does
of this.
take a long time to get to London in a rowboat, though.
Fair enough. So we've discussed this
Right.
and at length.
Okay.
And the next viable step is you got to have a forging apron.
Correct.
Those are made of leather.
Yes. Pretty thick leather.
So make our own damn aprons.
I think the making it yourself thing, like you can go online like any Jacobell,
Sure.
and you can buy you a $60 apron. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Protect your clothes, blah, blah, blah. But there's something about going down to the leather store, which, by the way, I wasn't really familiar with such a thing as a leather store.
There's a leather store.
There's a leather store. Get you a blank, and you start cutting that thing out, and you make your little frilly edges, make your little things around. But
You can carve in Orion.
yeah, you just put 3 little holes there, Carl O'Brien, and then you put that horrendous Western lettering on the bottom of it.
Of course.
But I got to thinking, with your personality and my personality, I kind of want to master the apron.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So I'm thinking we got to make about 650,000 aprons.
That's
First,
reasonable.
before we can get to the actual forge. So we got to make
Correct.
a leather apron. Got to excel at that.
You have to have a masterful
Right.
piece of apron.
Right. So we don't want to go looking like hayseeds.
You don't want to go looking like
Show up
hayseeds.
looking stylish.
Right.
So the next step is forging, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Ish.
The problem is you got to have tools. to
Tools,
forge.
man.
And you can't have tools without wooden handles.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're going to need a lathe.
You gotta have one.
We're probably going to need
Planers.
a planer. You need
joiner,
a really nice set of chisels.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
I mean, you
can't use a lathe with some dull ass chisels.
You gotta have the best, bro.
I mean,
we're
looking at a $750,000 operation.
Yeah, something like that to make forging handles.
Yeah,
and then we can begin to forge our actual tools and then learn to connect them.
Yep.
Which mankind's been struggling with for about 100,000 years, figuring out how to connect metal to wood.
Give or take.
So,
give or take.
I figured by the time we're 300, we might be able to actually sit down and start forging some stuff.
We got some of that Methuselah juice.
Right. I tell you what's really funny. The guy that's kind of helping me along with all this,
yeah,
he told me there's another step that I had never thought of.
Okay.
So we have two forges. One is a wood-fired forge, which is cool. It's a little more economical. You can find wood everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's long. So if you wanted to make like a sword, you could do it. The other way to do it, a lot of folks use coal forges.
Right.
Okay. So he said to light your coal forge, what you need to have is charcoal. And I was like, oh, you just go down and buy you some charcoal. He's no. We make charcoal.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I tagged you on a video. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. Yes.
And I've got a mountain of wood.
Right.
That is just scrap. I mean, you wouldn't even really want to use it in a fireplace. Because there's no telling what kind of crap is in it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all dried.
Right.
We got the wood.
Yeah. So we just got to make
our own charcoal.
And
that is just it's an ungodly process.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to take forever. And if we want a coal forge, I feel like we got to go get our own coal, man.
I mean, we're going to have to get our own lumberjacking gear.
Chop down our trees.
We're going to chop down the trees because we're going to do it au natural. Then we got to get our own kiln.
Okay.
We'll have to build a kiln.
Right.
So we can build the kiln. We'll dry the wood.
There are some people that have no idea what you're talking about right now. Like, a kiln? A what?
Kiln dried wood. That's
a kilt? They going to be wearing kilts out there?
We might. You never know.
Bro, I've always wanted to learn how to make some kilts, bro.
Well, shit. Might as well. Hey, just tie that into our leatherworking.
There you go.
And then we can figure out how to work wool.
Yeah.
We just get, we need sheeps.
We need some sheeps. We're going to have to find one of those spin things.
A spindle.
A spin? No, I don't think that's right.
I feel like that's close.
Spindle?
I think so.
I know the shop is called a spinnery. So
spindle fits.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll accept it for now with maybe some help in the future whenever we actually look it up. But here's who we got to talk to.
Okay.
We got to talk to Rapunzel.
Okay.
And we also have to talk to Jesus. Because he's got to teach us the carpentry stuff. I figure he's the expert. I feel like
I've got a pretty decent grasp on it, but I mean, I'll let you pray.
Okay.
You pray to him.
I'll pray to him.
You get some answers for me.
All right.
If I'm not building it square enough, then you just correct me. And you say, this is the Holy Spirit. It says...
The Holy Spirit says that you're not level.
You're stupid, sir. You should have stuck with leatherworking instead of carpentry.
You need to go back a step, sir. Not quite there. Well, I'll tell you, this is the kind of banter you can expect, and you need to vote for us, Pinewood and Beezy 2023.
Yes. Season 3.
So we have this running joke now, and we've had it for a while, but we don't really kind of draw attention to it because we don't know how the vote's going to go.
Yes.
So our constituents is 2.
Yes.
There's just 2 constituents that we're trying to win over.
And they're kind of the majority vote.
Yeah, they're the shareholders, if you will.
Yeah.
And at the end of season 2, which would be Christmas time, they get to make the decision if season 3 happens.
That is correct.
And I figure if we're leatherworking, carpentry working, making charcoal, cutting down trees, we got the D9 dozer in the back to go get coal whenever that
just get that growing.
As soon as that thing, rears its ugly face to go get it, we can go get it. We got all those things in the works. And if the podcast is good enough to have some Patreon subscribers, I think the wives will be like,
well,
they'll vote yes.
They'll give us the thumbs up.
We need to record them at the end of the year doing this, and then which decision they make.
And I don't know how true this is, but I had heard that back in the time when that was happening, it was actually thumbs down was good.
Really?
I hadn't done any research.
Well, it might be because they're asking if he can kill him. Oh, I see.
I think.
Okay.
And it could be far-fetched and just a drunken memory. I don't know.
Okay. I'll accept it. So we got two things to look up at some point. What in the world is inside a spinnery?
Yes.
And then also
spindles.
spindles doesn't sound right, but it might be. I was thinking like a loom.
Oh, I think it is a loom, actually.
Loom?
A loom
Okay.
does sound good.
It sounds right, but I'm not sure if that's the little spinny thing.
A spinning wheel.
A spinning wheel.
Technically,
they're all spinning wheels.
technically,
I mean,
they are.
all wheels spin.
But you have the spinning wheel to draw the wool,
right?
And then you put it on a loom, and the loom is what weaves it.
Okay, so the spindle, whatever we're calling that actually makes the fabric, and then you can, from that point, you can loom the fabric into whatever it is that you're making.
Allegedly?
Okay, so looming a kilt. That's
we're going to loom a kilt.
A kilt loom.
Yep.
All right. I'm thinking we're going to need some more property, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we're going to need quite a bit more. We're going to need some more land.
We're going to need a few acres to get all this done.
Well, this is my loom shop. This is my forge. And this here's our leatherworking shop.
It's like, why in the world do y'all have two razors out there? It's like, we got to get
how much. You know how tiring it is to go from one shop to the next just to go get a screwdriver?
What's that shop over there? That's the forge. We haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
we've only been doing this 37
We're working
years.
our way to the forge. You have to build up all the prerequisites.
That's true.
In order to get to the master plan of forging.
I know people are already tired of us talking about this.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't care. It's our podcast.
What do you say we
Well, before we go on with our podcast, let's give a shout out to Eccentric Brewery.
Yes.
Thank you for your sponsorship. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Go down there to Midland, Texas. Check them out. You can go to the website, eccentricbrewing.com, or eccentricbrewingco.com, I think is what it is.
Yes.
And the best thing to do is go over there and find them on Facebook. They're pretty active. So
Yes,
you can get
they
all
are.
their specials, and they have karaoke nights and live music. And actually, Beezy and Pinewood are going to be down there doing a live show, hopefully in the summer sometime. So it looks
I think so.
So that's exciting. And if you'd like to sponsor or help sponsor the show, we'd appreciate it. Not sponsor. If you'd like to help support the show,
Support the show.
go over to FWTG podcast. You can find our levels there, and you can join up, and you'll get an extra podcast a month, The Hidden Revival.
Yes.
And we got some new subscribers this past week, Aaron and Brianna, so we're excited about that, and hopefully some more to come.
Woohoo!
All right, how about before we get into the libations, let's do some On the Wagon articles. No? Am I missing one?
Since we're already talking about beer with the Eccentric. I did want to say I changed, and this is the first time in 59 episodes.
Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot.
I changed my rating from last week's beer because it got better.
Yep.
And it did. The more it warmed up, it got a little bit better. So
right.
I gave it a little bit better of a rate. I changed it from a 69 to a 71.
Hey, that's a full letter grade, man.
I was right there with you. You gave it a 71. I gave it a 71. So it was a good brew, and it got better.
Okay, I'm going to keep with it was an acceptable brew.
Yeah,
If you want to know what we're talking about, you can go back to the last episode and listen to the libation section.
exactly.
But before we get there today, let's stay on the wagon, and we'll talk about a little on the wagon articles.
Do it.
Truck transporting 100 monkeys to CDC research lab crashes on a Pennsylvania highway.
Oh no. CDC monkeys?
Yeah, CDC monkeys. What's funny?
Like, that's not a zoo, right?
Nope.
That's the
Nope.
Center for Disease Control.
Yeah, these are lab monkeys. These are lab monkeys.
Oh no.
A bystander who came across the scene got too close to a crate containing a monkey, and the monkey hissed at her. She had an open cut at the time, and she believes she may have contracted a case of conjunctivitis, commonly known
She got pink
as
eye?
pink eye.
So basically, what she's not telling you is she may have got too close. That monkey was pissed and threw some shit at her.
That's very
Hit her
true.
right in the face.
It's very possible.
That's exactly what happened. But she was trying to make it PC.
So she said, I get my face and I put it right up to the crate because it had chicken coop wire going around it to see if the monkey was actually still in there, because she couldn't see, apparently, the monkey. She wanted to know if it was one of the ones that had escaped. Oh, by the way, we'll get there. 3 of them escaped.
What?
Yes. CDC monkeys escaped. So
Oh my
I'll get there in a minute.
God.
So the monkey pops up at that point and hisses at me.
Yeah, fireball.
So she has an open cut on her face, and she thinks that this is why she got
Was she the driver
No.
that
This
caused
is,
the
this is a
wreck?
bystander.
So she had a cut on her face?
Yeah.
Just
Sounds a little
walking
weird, doesn't
around
it?
all nonchalant.
Right.
Just an open wound on my face.
Open wound on my face, smiling at monkeys. Like, what are you doing, lady? Like, come
At
on.
a wreck.
At a wreck with
There is
monkeys.
a disaster afoot, and you're open wound.
Yes.
Gonna go have a look-see.
Right. So here's the funky thing. It makes me think of Outbreak, the 1995
Yeah.
movie with Dustin Hoffman. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
they carry these diseases. And then here's the weird part. The trailer. Now, look, if you and I wanted to carry something that's quote unquote hazardous, there's a stamp on the back of the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. No stamp on the back of the trailer.
Well, that's just governmental regulations.
And then also no markings on the trailer.
When you're the governmental, you don't have to follow the rules, man.
Yes. So this lady, I didn't get her first name. Her last name is Fallon. So Mrs. Fallon, she said that she voiced concerns about the monkeys to authorities, and they pretty much kept her in the dark and didn't say much.
Oh, snap.
And then one more little addition that makes me want to dive into our conspiratorium section from the Hidden Revival.
Yeah.
The 3 monkeys that escaped, they were captured and immediately euthanized.
What?
Yes. They did not keep the monkeys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So what is the purpose of euthanizing escaped monkeys?
They got some good shits in them.
There's something going on. Something going on. So be prepared out there for a new strain of coronavirus. We'll call it the silverback strain.
Silverback strain.
Silverback variant. We thought Corona was getting better. Not anymore, man.
No.
CDC monkeys, they done messed up. CDC monkeys.
They messing with our kinfolk.
It's crazy to me to think that there's just trucks with trailers driving around with government lab monkeys.
Oh, dude. It reminds me of that scene in
So crazy.
Jay and Silent Bob when they break into the to try to release the monkeys.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Was it the Valtech or the Valcorp, something
Yep.
like that, some sort of lab, and so they go
The COVID
in. and-
core?
Yeah, the COVID core, and then they open all of the cages and they bust out the front door and they escape because all the animals confuse Will Ferrell's character, which
Yep.
is fantastic.
Yep.
That's a great movie.
It is a phenomenal flick.
Before we get off on Cinemize, we'll get there today.
Yes.
But before we get off on Cinemize stuff, let's do a little libations.
Oh. Libations!
Now, I know it doesn't always make a ton of difference, but I love this can.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. All right, BZ, tell us what we're drinking today.
So this is a new brewery to the list.
Okay.
This is the NOLA Brewing Company
Beautiful.
out of Nolans.
Yes. If you don't know, that area's nomenclature, they call the greater metropolitan area of New Orleans, NOLA. It's New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yep.
And the abbreviation is NOLA. So
It's just easier that way.
Makes sense.
Everybody get in there, just say NOLA. I
And-
ain't got time for that.
well, you can't understand them if they say the whole thing.
Exactly.
You can make out NOLA, and you know at least what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
roundabouts. Roundabouts, you got to
I
figure
tell
it
you
out.
what, man, if you've ever been around a real Cajun dude,
Yep.
they're pretty tough to understand at first.
Dude, they are fun. Super fun.
After about 3 days, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get along
Finally
with you.
catching every other word.
Did they have a description online?
They have a phenomenal beer description.
Okay.
So what we're drinking today is called the Irish Channel Stout.
All right.
It is 6.8 ABV with a staggering 41 IBU. You get it good and lit?
We have for the 4th time.
Yeah.
We'll see. I get off and I start talking, I forget about it. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot I was smoking that guy.
So, okay, so 41 on the IBUs. So even one more than last week.
One more than last week.
All right.
Which if it's
see how
as
this
light
goes.
as last week, I'm
Right.
okay with that.
Now, stouts and bitters.
I have a,
I don't know. Typically, they're on
it's
the
more
sweet
of a
side.
well, and if it's a stout and it's bitter, it's more of like a dark chocolate kind of bitter,
Okay, fair.
which I'm 100% on board with.
All right. Well, what's this one got?
All right, prepare yourselves.
Prepared.
If you love beer, chances are you love stouts. If you brew beer, it's likely you have a stout in your repertoire. And if you happen to brew beer in a neighborhood called the Irish Channel, you'd be a fool if you didn't name your stout Irish Channel Stout. This beer is our love letter to the neighborhood. Settled in the 19th century by immigrants from the birthplace of the stout, the Irish Channel is beautiful and beguiling. Maybe a little scruffy, but always charming, and flawed in all the right ways, just like us. Also, it's home to one of the world's greatest St. Patrick's Day celebrations, where the Irish Channel Stout flows like the River Shannon. And then on their tasting notes, it says, smooth, rich, dark, and delicious, strong espresso front on strong espresso front with a touch of baker's chocolate on the finish, balanced with a crisp bitterness produced by American hops and roasted barley.
Interesting. Huh. I wonder what baker's chocolate is.
It's the chocolate that bakers use. I'm just going out on a limb. I think that might be what it's for.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. I wonder if it's like a more bitter chocolate.
I hope so.
Yep. All right. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's crack it, bro.
Right.
Well, it smells good.
Does smell good, doesn't it? Cheers, my friend.
Clink it and drink it.
I was freezing to death, then it started to snow, so I got down from the trees and started heading for the truck, and that's when I seen it there.
Ooh.
Dang, son.
That's a stout beer.
Not what I expected.
And we're probably drinking this, I don't know. If I had to gauge, I'd say probably in the 50s.
You think it's that warm?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, okay, so I assumed that it would be much thicker and almost, more syrupy consistency.
Sure.
It's not.
No.
I haven't used this term in a while. It's bouncy. For a stout, it's bouncy. And it's got a good mouthfeel to it. I like the flavors. None of it's overbearing where it hits you right out of the gate. None of it really lingers. I think the bitterness is extremely well balanced. And for me to have a stout that's not overly sweet is a big A+. And so I'm a fan, my friend. That is fantastic.
Yeah, this is a very,
it's a very
good beer.
Okay, now it's 6.8%.
Yep.
So it really meets all the qualifications that we've talked about, for 59 episodes now.
Sure.
It's got that sweet spot on the ABVs. Now, for me, it's perfect on the bitters. You may be a little bit high marked anyway, but I don't taste
marked. Yeah.
I don't taste that.
I do get a very small amount of bitters on the far back end of it.
Right.
But I also get that chocolate, and it's a dark chocolate, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if maybe that's the dark chocolate bitter.
It's baker's chocolate, bro.
It's that dang old baker's chocolate. Well, so baker's chocolate's the shit. I like it.
Apparently, well, it goes well with cigar too. What
are you smoking over there?
So this is the Oliva G series. It's kind of my podcasting cigar that I smoke right now. I found a couple of boxes online, of discounted. And so I bought them both, and thankfully they're great for a bargain cigar. But anyway, it pairs well. A lot of times we'll have a beer that's either too fruity or not sweet at all, and it just doesn't pair very well with a cigar. But this one's fantastic, really, really good. Yeah. Now, tell me about price point, because I noticed these are the tall boys. These are 16 ounces or a pint.
A point,
and
it's a point, and it came in a 4-pack.
A 4-pack. Okay, what was the price point?
Reasonable. It was, I think it was 11.
Okay.
And that could be, I think it was actually $9.99.
Okay. So around that $10 mark.
Yeah. Well, just a reasonably priced 4-packer.
Yep. That's great. And like I said, for the larger size.
Yeah.
Well, I would not bat an eye at buying that again.
No. Most definitely.
That's a really nice beer.
This is a solid brew.
For sure. I don't know if I even want it to warm up anymore. I like it. I like it right where it's at. It might develop a little more flavor profile once it warms, but I think it's great right now.
And it's got the. I don't necessarily get the espresso in the front.
Right.
I get
don't
what
know.
I consider a stout flavor. The chocolate. I guess hell maybe coffee.
Yeah.
But it does kind of sit in the back of your throat like just a really black coffee.
Yeah, I can definitely bring out the coffee taste. I like it. I like it. As we say many times, we're not aficionados, and we don't necessarily have the vocabulary to adequately describe a beer. And at the end of the day, I just got to say, was it good or was it not?
Yeah.
And this one's good.
This one's damn good.
Yeah, this one's good.
Where are you feeling
86.
an 86?
86. I'm going to put this one up there. And for a stout, for me, the winning ticket is that it's just not overly sweet. It's light and it's not overly sweet.
And
still full flavored.
oddly enough, I'm going to agree with you on this. Some of these really dark chocolate stouts that we've had in the past have that really, really big sweet punch at the front.
Right.
And I love that. This is dialed back substantially.
It's more subtle all the way around.
Yeah, it really is. And that sweet just kind of rides the whole profile of it.
Yeah.
And I'm digging that. And I think I'm going to give this one a 91.
Woo, going on up there.
I'm
category,
moving on
huh?
up. Yeah, dude. This is definitely going to be on my drinking list.
Okay.
I like this one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Price point's good. Can art is awesome.
Yes, it is. Now, do you think this is seasonal? Since they say they serve it during the St. Patrick's Day festival, but I wonder if it's all the time.
I don't think that the website doesn't say anything about it being seasonal.
I would assume if it was seasonal, we wouldn't be able to find it right now. Of course, we are.
Yeah,
we're
we're getting
February.
close. We're getting close.
Yeah. By the way, we're gonna have to think of something cool to do this year for Patty's.
For Patty's.
Day.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
know.
so we'll have to put that on the old agenda. So I don't
Let's
know.
do the live.
We could. Solid B+ for me. A- for old BZ.
Giving it the A-, man.
So, and both get the stamp of highly approved and definitely
Yes.
will drink again.
Yeah, definitely get out there and try and find that. If you want to go check out their website, the website is NOLA Brewing. It's NOLA brewing.com.
Great stuff. All right, let's do a little questions.
Cool. Say, let me ask you something.
Slap at the bass.
Slap at the best, man.
Dude, I was just thinking about that movie the other day. And
It's a good one.
so all of our DVDs, when we moved from Albuquerque, got boxed and boxed up. And we lived in Pampa for 9 months, I think we were there. And we knew we were about to move to another house. So we didn't do very
Why
much
unbox it?
unboxing. And what we did during that time was we subscribed to 14 streaming services.
As one does.
And now we still haven't unboxed our DVDs because
And you still got other streaming services.
but I thought, well, I want to watch that movie. I couldn't find it without buying it.
Really?
Could not find it.
So
So,
instead of opening the box,
I bought it.
and hunting it, you bought it.
Yeah.
I'd done the same thing.
we rented it, so it was only $3, but still, it's kind of
See,
peak laziness.
the miser in me
Yes,
will not allow me to do that.
to rent.
To rent.
You're a buyer. You're a movie buyer.
I cannot rent anything because, especially if I like it,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm for sure gonna kick myself if I pay
Yeah.
$4.
Sure.
And then you come over, I'm like, bro,
Yep.
greatest movie ever.
Right.
You have to watch it. Here's another $4. Shit, I do that 2 times. I almost bought the movie anyways.
And I do like the fact that when you buy it, so both of us have Xbox systems.
Right.
And I buy most of my stuff on the tab, right?
Sure.
And what's great is it follows you. You know, if something happens, you can go back into your account and it follows you. And I like that. That's a good thing.
Pull it up with movies anywhere.
Yep. So
Yeah, buddy.
I like it, man. All right.
sir.
Question number 1 this week. This week. Wow. That's good. Good grief. You went first last week, so I'm going to go first this week.
Cool.
Question is, did Adam have a belly button since God created him?
No. That's where we get the creepy design for the Ken dolls.
Dude, that's brilliant. So the Ken doll's actually Adam?
He had no penis either.
I don't think that's true.
Adam had no penis. He didn't have to create a wife.
Well, But he got one. What did God just hang one on?
Yeah,
hang one on after the fact, like Mr. Potato Head.
Well,
just plug and play.
Here you go. Hang on. I'm gonna see if I can Kobe this shit from the other side of the garden. Wah, coming.
That's hilarious. That's why men have an outie, ladies got an innie.
Yeah.
He thought it through with the lady, and Adam, he was like, just hang that right there. I'll be fine.
We need to give you something to procreate.
Shoot, I did not think this through.
I did not think that through.
So I will say, he may not have had a belly button. He for sure had a cut in his rib, in his side.
Yeah.
So God had to come in and take care of that particular situation.
He did.
Maybe
triple antibiotic or
something like that.
Triple A.
Yep. What if God got the rib through the belly and it created the belly button, and that's why we have belly buttons?
Oh.
God was like, well, dang. I don't have a plastic surgeon, so I can't fix that hole. So now all of them got to have the hole. Oh, we'll just do it in
everybody. You get a hole, and you get a hole, and you get a hole.
So he fixed it after that. So really, the person who doesn't have one is Eve. She's the one who doesn't have one.
Ooh, yes. I'm with you. I'm tracking.
Makes sense, but all of her children have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's patient X.
So from last week's conversation, it would make sense that the spaceship Adam and the spaceship Eve
crash landed.
Would not have belly buttons.
They wouldn't. Unless...
No belly buttons on the spaceship.
Well, I mean, to follow that logic, they might, because they aren't the original beings.
What do you mean?
If they were aliens,
right,
and they crash landed,
right,
they might have had belly buttons.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about
they may not have
spaceships. Because remember last week we said they landed on it with Adam and Eve. That was the names of the two ships. Oh. So the ships didn't have.
The ships didn't have them.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
The aliens might have, that are now humans.
Yeah, that's fair.
The alien humans. The
aliens. Lizard Illuminati's easier.
Lizard Illuminati. They do have those smooth little underbellies.
Hey, tickle it, nice and soft. Just feels weird. Doesn't feel like it belongs on that creature.
That's true. Now, was it on the Hidden Revival or this podcast that we talked about the bacterial infection you can get in your belly button if you're not careful? Do you remember that?
I think that was the Hidden Revival.
So that creeped me out after reading that.
Getting stones or something?
So I was, it was weird. It was gross, weird stuff. So I made sure to watch that sucker when I got home.
I got in there with Q-tips and everything, Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel with his Q-tip.
Ugh. Yeah, there's some bad Google images on that particular thing. So,
you did a Google image search on
whenever
that?
I typed that in that last week, it was just like, bam, they popped up.
Never.
It was bad.
Never.
It was really
Google
bad.
image search anything that has to do with the human body.
Okay, now, this may just be me.
Okay.
But have you ever fondled your belly button deep enough
where it hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where it
all
has
the time.
What do you mean all the time? It's like Beezy's daily belly button
I'm
fondle.
going to sit here and do it right now where you actually kind of feel it in your dick neck.
I wasn't going to go that far, but you can feel it in your groin area. It's all connected there, bro. For whatever reason, it's funky.
Oh,
gross.
Smells weird.
Well, yeah, that's really gross. I'm glad you didn't lick it. I appreciate you not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do
Have you seen that TikTok where the husband just tries to make his wife vomit all the time by making that noise?
No, but that's awesome.
It's brilliant. So she has this weird reaction to that particular noise, and it will cause her to actually vomit, like on cue. So the whole TikTok series is just him like walking around behind her and making that noise. Man.
Have that issue and you're listening to this podcast right now,
sorry,
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize because I'm probably gonna do it a time or two more.
I'll tell you, we have a friend, the parrot.
The parrot, yes.
I tell you, man, that boy can't handle much.
Yeah,
like even just like cutting up chicken or something in the kitchen, he's like, poor kid.
I'll never forget that time that we all went to Colorado,
right?
And we hit the dirt road. We went to the Palisades. We all shotgunned our beers.
Yep.
We get to the cabin, and the earth was moving for me and for Panda.
Okay.
And being the gentleman, I've been there before. I wanted to look around. I said, Panda,
Go do your thing. Right.
Hit the head first.
Okay.
I'll go in round 2. So he goes and does his deal. I go in and I murder that toilet. And come out, and then Brian, or the parent's like, yeah, dude, I've got to go. So he goes in, and we're sitting on the couch, and we're cracking a beers. And all of a sudden, the door flies open. He runs out the front door and just up chucking. I'm like, what the hell just happened, bro? Are you okay? He goes, dude, y'all destroyed that bathroom. I can't handle it.
Yeah, he's got weak sensibilities.
Yeah.
But we
That's
love
awesome.
him. We love him just the same.
We love you, parrot.
All right, man. Question number dose.
Oh, snap already. Well, sticking with the human anatomy, I want to tap into your scientific and health knowledge.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I just want you to know that I'm a juggernaut when it comes to science and health.
I know you are.
I mean, look at me.
You hadn't written as many books as I have,
That's true.
but it'll be all right.
I'm second in the world, bro. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah. Second to me.
Exactly. Look at us.
So Eileen Gormley is curious.
Wait. What?
Eileen Gormley is
That's her name?
Is her name. Yeah.
Okay. When you first said that, I was thinking in my mind hole, Eileen Gormley is like a drunk dude trying to tell you that he's leaning.
Eileen Gormley.
He's trying to explain that he leans all the time. Like, this is totally normal.
It's not Gormley. It's okay. Don't worry. Eileen Gormley.
That's fantastic.
Eileen normally.
I like it.
Drunk speak, I understand you.
All right. So,
All right.
Gormley?
So, Eileen normally.
Okay.
She's curious and she wants to know.
Man.
And this is a good one. Since breast milk has decreased in quality since the 1940s due to the nutritional deficiencies of the average mother's diet and environmental toxins, would it not be reasonable to supplement or entirely feed with organic baby formula?
Okay, I'm going to step back from this one just a bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure I want to touch that particular question.
You don't want to touch booby milk?
Not really.
So I got a question. How does she know? Is there a governing body that tests
Right?
and makes sure of the nutritional value of tit milk?
Well, that's tit milk, bro. This is why we probably shouldn't be talking about this particular
Bristiculars.
question.
It's the bristicular milks.
All right, so I just wanted to look up before you get there, and the people who would govern it. Is it true?
Uh-huh.
And it does. I can't find anything.
You probably won't.
Okay, let's assume that what she's saying is true. And look, I could roll that dice. I could definitely go down that road. So, our food supply's gotten worse for sure.
Well,
We're
there's no denying that.
eating junkier food. We're eating
Sure.
lab food. I mean, our food's getting worse. I will agree with her there. And it would make sense that would transpire through breast milk. All right.
Okay, maybe.
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
I can't imagine that anything that's made in a lab and put in a can and shipped shelf stable to your Walmart, organic or not, is going to be better than the real thing.
Correct. Because the mother, when she produces milk, she has special enzymes and stuff that can't be chemically created.
Okay.
And I could be wrong.
Well-
but I'm pretty sure that's right.
So there's a whole generation of babies that were like raised on formula.
Yeah.
And they've come back now and like, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. just breastfeed your child. Like, it's fine.
Well,
It's no big deal.
and some people can't. Like when we had our kid, the producer couldn't produce, and it's one of those things that happens. Women have that,
Bro,
have the
you
issue
can't-
where they can't produce.
You can't just walk past that. That was hilarious.
Baby, I love you.
I mean, look,
I'm meaning,
not making fun.
I'm not making fun. I'm pointing out that some women do not have the ability to produce milk.
It's fair. Let me amend my statement. If you have the choice, I can't imagine that a product you buy is better than what you can make naturally.
Oh, well, but you also got to remember there's vegans. Mm-hmm. And they're probably going to want organic.
Well, I would say I'm sure a vegan thing exists. A vegan formula exists.
I'm sure it does.
But I mean, at some point you're giving a child lactose which is a mammalian product.
Correct.
So it can't be vegan. I mean, if it comes from an animal, it by definition cannot be vegan.
Well, they milk the shit out of them almonds.
They
got them almond teats. And now I heard this. They're milking oats.
Right.
They're milking cashews.
Yeah.
All sorts of the nuts. They're milking the shit out of nuts now.
And God's like, I gave him 47 animals that they could get milk from, and they're milking the almonds?
And cows, llamas, alpacas, just to name 4.
That's really funny. So I'll get back to this here in a second, but we had a raw milk farm in Albuquerque, right outside Albuquerque. Raw milk's fantastic.
Pistachios?
Well, yeah, but that's down south, a little further south.
Oh, yeah. Alamogordo, right?
Yep. But anyway, raw milk's great. Fantastic. If your stomach can handle it, highly recommend. Now, there was also a raw sheep milk farm.
Okay.
And I tried it. And I
no
did
buenos?
not like it. It was not good. And then they were like, well, how about some goat milk? And I was like, no, if I don't like sheep milk, there's no way I'm going to like goat milk. So I do like some goat cheese, though. That's
goat cheese is okay.
Shit.
It's a little bit, it's a little ripe for me.
I like it.
But I will say, because you turned me on to that stupid show with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And
The one with their buddies?
Yeah, with his buddies, and they're going around town.
It's a good show.
And then they were milking water buffalo or something like that.
Heck yeah, bro.
Literally straight from the teat.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Warm milk.
Warm milk. I've never been a fan of warm milk anyways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Will Ferrell did a whole segment about it.
Really?
No, just the show.
Oh.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah, milk was a bad choice.
So, I don't know, man. All right, so we don't have a child yet.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that particular choice should be left to the mom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely
sure.
not asking folks to, like, force their women, to do something, but I can't imagine it being better to get formula.
And the hospital that we were at was really good about that.
Okay.
The nursing staff was super supportive. We tried to do everything, the chingoletta pumping and all that stuff, and we couldn't produce.
Y'all do the whole natural route, like with the witch doctor and
no, we
all
didn't.
That good stuff?
We didn't have the baby in a sauna or in a hot tub. No, we didn't do that one. We went to a actual
bathtub births.
hospital. Yeah, no bathtub births for us.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
I didn't feel like getting the cleaning supplies to clean the tub.
That's why they use kiddie pools. They just throw that crap away. We don't need that anymore. It's over. It's just done. Deal.
We're done. We took some salad tongs. We grabbed the placenta.
Gross.
Put that in the freezer. We're
in
gonna
the
make
freezer?
a salad later.
You sound like one of them
It's
vegans.
an al fresco.
Gosh. Man. I tell you, growing up, we had cows, and they would birth, and then the mom a lot of times would eat that, and I tell you, it does not look appetizing. I will say that.
No, it does not.
Pretty rough. All right. So, what was her question?
I don't even remember.
I was like, did we answer a question, or
I feel like we did.
Just banter a little bit.
I feel like we answered it with our banter.
Okay, so
do it if you can. If you can't,
produce
right
if
on.
you can.
And breast milk. I mean, I don't know. We couldn't find anything conclusive saying that it has surely decreased in quality.
Right, and I'm sure it has. I mean, it makes logical sense. I just couldn't find anything, in the short amount of time I had to research it.
Sure.
All right. That it?
That's it.
What else?
Cinemize me.
So it's almost the forbidden holiday.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's getting close.
we're a few days away from the Hallmark holiday.
Right. I tell you what I'm going to get you. Well, I tell you what I'm going to get us. I'm going to get us matching bathrobes with O'Brien's belt. Not O'Brien. I'm drinking an Irish lager. I mean, it just came out, Orion's belt. That's what I meant.
It's O'Brien's belt.
And O'Brien's belt has 17 holes, by the way.
And they're not in a line. They're kind of
Got a little carried away there, guy.
yeah.
All right. So naturally, it would make sense for us to do romantic comedies. Better
The
known
dreaded
as rom-coms.
rom-coms.
Now, I'll admit, this is neither one of us particularly enjoy these particular films.
Not a huge fan.
Nope. There are some diamonds in the rough.
There have been a handful over the years that you're forced to watch.
Right.
Because you don't really watch them. But we were forced to watch these, and you're like, that wasn't completely unbearable.
Right.
Or, hell, I actually kind of enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
So,
And we don't typically admit this stuff either.
yeah. So, we're going to actually redact this entire segment.
Whatever we're about to say cannot be used against us in a court of law.
Exactly. Or with our wives.
Or with our wives. We just hope they don't listen.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's just kind of hodgepodge it together. We'll
Okay.
just talk about a few and then we'll kind of leave it at that.
All right, then.
Now, I'm going to start with my main dude,
Okay.
and that's John Cusack.
Of course it is.
John Cusack did some great romantic movies. If you're into that sort of thing, him crying in the rain happens in every movie that he makes.
Yeah.
He's crying over somebody in the rain, and he looks sad. That's his thing. It's like his staple thing.
And that's your thing.
How is that my thing?
It's your thing. You like his movies because you're skinny,
Oh God,
weird, and you cry.
wow, bro, you really went.
You're a wiener.
You really went negative there, like fast. I know we're talking about like politics and stuff.
I mean, I love you.
you didn't have to come out and
But-
attack so much.
but dang.
I feel like I need to take a break, take a shot of something. I feel like I need to go outside and cry
I'd
in
give
the
you
rain.
some Goldschlager, but the libation station ate it.
Yeah. Also, Goldschlager would make me cry, and that's the opposite of what I'm going for now.
Yeah, fair
I'll
enough.
tell you what, I need to get us some Whipple! Some of y'all will get that. Okay, so John Cusack, I'm going to give kind of my top ones that he did. Say Anything's probably the best one. Late
Okay.
80s, that's the one where he holds the stereo up. You know, classic, right? Classic
Yeah.
love flick, really good.
Classic Cusack.
Must Love Dogs with Diane Lane is a great movie. Now, is it going to win any blockbuster awards? Nope. Is it going to be highly
Did it win
acclaimed?
any blockbuster awards?
Nope.
No.
It was barely available at Blockbuster. I mean, it just wasn't a great movie.
Whoa, nice name drop.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I really like it. And a lot of the reason I like that show so much is because I really like Diane Lane.
Now, I'll give you that one.
Do like her.
And when we were kind of pre-talking,
Yes.
there was one movie that had Diane Lane that I was like, it doesn't really fall into the rom-com at all.
Nope.
But it is the best movie I ever saw her in.
And yeah.
And it was called Unfaithful.
Yeah. And you don't just see Diane Lane in the movie.
Lord.
You see all of Diane Lane in the
All
movie.
of Diane
Several
Lane.
times, by the way.
And it's just a masterpiece.
Well, yeah, it's okay. It's sad. It's such a sad movie. She gets herself in a world of pain. It's just
I
not.
don't watch a movie for the storyline.
I mean, that's a fair point. Serendipity, probably one of the.
Serendipity.
So-
I feel like,
That was him and old Kate Beckinsale.
okay.
And really,
Yeah, I didn't like it.
yeah, it's a good story about people not meeting up at the right time in the right place.
And it
kinda
was
goes through-
serendipitous how things.
Correct.
Oh, I just wrote the movie.
Yeah. All right, Grosse Point Blank, which was a cool movie about an assassin that falls in love with Minnie Driver. Oh, that's pretty good. And Minnie Driver's character's great in the movie.
Okay.
I give it tops. And then last but not least, High Fidelity. High Fidelity is a great show. Any way you slice it, it's good.
I'll give you that one. That High Fidelity is pretty solid.
Yep. Good cast.
Yeah,
and
you can't really
well
beat that
scripted. The writing is phenomenal. Did I say on the podcast before that this is the movie that got me in trouble in college for plagiarism?
No.
So we had to write an essay, and I stole lines from this movie and Fight Club, and I kind of made them my own, and then I actually won an award.
No kidding.
For writing.
What?
And when I won, like 2 weeks later, the professor...
Give us that award back, you son of a
professor
bitch.
was like, she was super mad. She wouldn't talk to me about it. And so I was like, why is she so mad at me? Well, it turned out she's like, I know you stole all that crap.
You've literally plagiarized 2 movies.
She went to bat for me to win this award. And then they come
that's
back.
awesome.
She was not happy about it.
Oh, dude, that is brilliant. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I've never even heard that one.
Yeah, man. So I'm not
beautiful.
overly proud of that particular moment.
I'm proud for you.
So I'm going to just lay that on the line. John Cusack movies, pretty good.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
I'll watch them.
Well, I think just the pinnacle rom-com, 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
How
many did
Hell,
how
Adam
many did they
Sandler
make
and Drew
together?
Barrymore.
Yeah, how many did they make?
52. I don't know. Hell, they're probably making one next month.
51st Date was the 50th movie they had made together.
Yeah. They're cranking them out.
It's a good movie. It's real cute and flirty, and I liked
It
it.
had decent story.
Yeah.
Yeah, not terrible.
Not terrible.
And the first rom-com that I remember watching and being like, oh, hell, that was actually a really good movie, was called Love Actually.
Yeah.
And it had a great cast.
So you can say the
and
cast made that.
there was like 4 different viewpoints, and they all kind of interweaved, and it was a really good movie.
Yep, pretty good.
And I don't want to say this one
You got to.
because of the hell I give this movie
Okay.
with my wife.
Okay.
Mamma Mia.
Oh, jeez, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Did you say that out loud?
No, redact it.
Redact
This has been redacted.
Like, I was all for the forgiveness now, but not that one. Dadgummit, man.
I hate that I'm putting this on the list.
Okay.
2 factors.
All right, let's hear them.
ABBA.
Pass.
The music's great. It's catchy as hell.
It's all right.
Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
That's ridiculous. And banned. We're on Spotify now.
Oh, shit. It's all right. Hey, where's Neil Old at? We'll go
Maybe
join
we
Neil
can
Old.
join him on the radio again.
I bag on this flick every time my wife is watching this stupid thing.
Yep.
Because she watches it frequently.
Okay.
And she watches it with my mom.
Ugh.
I know. It's gross.
Yep.
But, dude, the cast, for number 2, the cast, it's got a stellar cast.
Okay.
And then I got a zinger.
All right.
And it is technically a rom-com.
Okay.
But Zach and Miri make a porno.
All right. Yeah. It's crass.
I know.
I mean,
It's my type of comedy.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Because it was either that one or Knocked Up.
Okay, Knocked Up's pretty good. I like that show a lot.
And it was a great movie. And right in my realm, just enough to draw me in with the comedy.
Yep.
To have the nonsense romantic crap on it.
Right.
But no,
sense.
that's where I'm at with it, man.
Okay. I like it. Well, any others, like, what about pairings? Is there any pairings of, a couple of people or that just go well together, like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore? Is there any other pairings you can think of that you really like? Because I got 2.
James Bond and any chick. So you're
That's the
saying
dumbest thing I've ever heard. Definitely not a rom-com.
I mean, you could vouch for it.
I mean, it is funny when they always betray him later in the movie. That's pretty good.
They
Pretty
did.
good.
Man, I don't know.
So what was the...
I don't really watch these willingly,
That's fair.
and I try to stray from them every chance I get.
All right, fair enough. So I would say, and this may be because I kind of grew up with these movies, but Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
Okay.
You know, Sleepless in Seattle. You've Got Mail, and what was the other one that they did?
What Eyes Wide Shut.
Definitely not that. No, definitely not. Oh, I'm not thinking about Tom Hanks. The first one I was thinking about was When Harry Met Sally with old Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
Was that Billy Crystal?
I think so, yeah.
I
think it was.
I don't think so. I'm going to have to call you out on that one.
Do it.
Let me hit the Google machines.
Okay, and then I'll close with this one while you're looking that up. And it's a 50-50 shot whether that's right or not. I'm going to close with, nope, first I'm going to give a caveat.
Of course you are.
I don't put this in this category.
Yeah, it is Billy
All right,
Crystal.
sweet. I got 1 to 50. 1 to 50. You always get me on that stuff. Anyway, okay.
I've never seen that movie, to be fair. So
Really?
I've never once in my life wanted to watch that movie.
It's pretty good. Okay, the site that I looked up that had a list put The Princess Bride in there.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
I
love the hell out of that movie, and my wife really loves that movie.
I like about
great movie.
I like about the first 45 minutes of it. I could watch the first 45 minutes over and over and over again.
I mean, I could watch the whole thing.
I don't know. The ending kind of, whatever. But it's pretty good. Last but not least, The Holiday.
Last but not least,
with Jack Black.
The Holiday with Jack Black. I don't know that I've even seen that one.
It's pretty good. It's British. It's feel good. And, you know, it hits the romanticness enough that the wife will enjoy it too. So it's pretty good.
The Holiday with Jack Black.
Yep. Let's check it out, man. I know you're not going to.
I probably won't even check it out, just to be honest with you.
But when you think of wonderful acting skills, Jack Black's typically not where you go. But he does a great job.
He's had some great cameos.
Yeah.
And he's done a really good job. That's why he's
Jack Black.
Jack Black, man.
Yeah. But no, this is a legit movie and it's pretty good.
Okay, fair enough.
Go check it out. Okay, I tell you what, I'll give a challenge to our audience, especially the ladies. Love to hear y'all's picks.
Yes.
And you can send us a voicemail, we'll play it. And you can send us an email and we'll read it. And you can even show up at the doghouse and we'll probably let you sit in on us.
Yeah.
And if any of y'all say Bridget Jones's Diary, I'll stab you in the throat. That is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable film.
I don't even know what that is. Isn't that the chick from Dharma and Greg?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I feel like it should be.
You're gonna have to look it up. It's a British.
I don't even want to.
Thing.
I don't want my computer to know I've looked at that.
That is hilarious.
I don't want the government to
Can
look
you
at
imagine the filth that's in BZ's computer? And he's like, nope, not doing that one. It's gonna put me on some sort of watch list.
Flying hate magic midget porn? Yes.
Bridget Jones' Diary?
Bridget Jones?
No,
Nope.
not a chance.
Not a chance.
That is really funny.
Hells to the no.
Where are we going now?
Let's get a little thinky going. Thank you, blindness. Oh, I almost kind of like it better when it doesn't light and you go into full-on freak mode. Like it hasn't picked every one of those clicks up.
Well, it's funny is I get so mad I'm going so fast that I'll light it and then I'll miss it.
Oh, shit, I got it.
All right, my friend. I think I went first last week. How about you take the floor?
Well, I reckon so. This is going to be a would you rather. Would you rather be able to fly at 1 mile per hour or teleport to places you've used the restroom?
Okay, one more time.
Would you rather fly at 1 mile per hour or teleport to places you've used the restroom?
I think places you've used the restroom. I think so. I mean, look, I don't like heights. So if I got to fly.
You don't got to fly high, bro.
Yeah, but I'm flying.
You can fly high enough off the ground where you still feel comfortable.
How weird would it be if you're driving down the road and there's a dude flying on the side of the road like,
Jesus Christ! It's Jesus Christ!
What if he's me and he's scared? He's flying 1 foot off the ground and he's just like hovering. He's got his little briefcase. He's just kind of trucking along,
inconveniencing you.
Dang, 1 mile per hour? No,
Yeah.
bro, no. I mean, you go to the restroom in places that are important to you. So, you just teleport to all the important places, you'd be fine. Now, is that the only mode of travel?
No, it doesn't say that's your only mode of travel.
Okay. No, bro, that's easy for me. Bathrooms, for sure. And probably fields. Lots of fields.
But
one bush at the church.
we're going to alter this question to, we really can't though, because teleporting and flight,
Right.
super slow flight.
Yes. Yeah, that would be agonizing. I can't imagine.
Bro, you couldn't do shit.
No. All you can do is float. You're essentially floating.
Now, it would be handy. I could outfish the shit out of you.
Because you can just float over there.
I'm going to float. Oh, you cast 50 yards out? Watch this. I'm going to go 50 yards out. I'm going to cast another 10. Man, because that's about as far as I can cast.
Yeah, of course, the bad thing is it would take you 15 minutes to get out there at 50 yards in order to cast.
Yeah, I mean, 1 mile per hour is
too
rough.
slow. It's too slow.
It is. I feel like that's too slow.
Yep.
Especially if you're going to do long distance travel.
Yeah, 1 mile per hour is slower than walking. Like you're
I don't know. I've been behind some slow people in the grocery store.
nah, you're crawling at 1 mile per hour. I mean, you and I, not overly fit, but I bet we could walk 3 miles in an hour. So you're trucking at more than 1 mile an hour. I mean, you would be aggravated all the time. You would basically be reduced to party tricks.
So I guess I'm going to ask a question on my own question.
That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense.
Really, it's more of a what would you think if we added this element to the question?
Okay.
What if you're able to go into autopilot and just kind of doze off and then just kind of like you just I'm going to go the other side of the town, take a nap, or hell, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to fly up about 50 feet, 100 feet.
Okay.
I'm going to GPS it, plug it in my jippus. And then I'm gonna doze off.
I'm gonna stop you there. No, there's no way I could rationalize that, because the only thing it would be really useful for is vertical flight. If you could fly vertically, which in your question you could, that might be worth it in certain circumstances, where you could just hey, I'm gonna check out the roof, and you can just fly up there and check it out. It'd take you a little bit.
I mean, it's not necessarily your only means of travel.
Right. So you could drive wherever you're going, and then you could just float up to the
fly.
top. Yeah, it'd be fine. I'm still going with bathrooms. I still think that's the best, because I'm adding to my repertoire all the time, bro.
Yeah, but you personally don't, because you're a bit of a shy body.
Yeah, but I'll pee anywhere.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
My Rolodex of piss locations is vast, my friend.
Yeah. All right. You've peed in Ireland, too.
I have, and Scotland, and Paris, and London.
So, blah.
Yeah, you can just go over there anytime.
You're gonna have a Paddy's Day celebration in Ireland?
Yeah, I just go through my little Rolodex, and there it is.
To get us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
And I agree 1,000%. Places I've used the restroom, because I'll use the restroom, a urine, about anywhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Now, for a number 2 ski,
Yeah.
that's limited.
Say it changes a little bit, because your locations lessen
Yeah.
quite substantially.
So,
And it's possible that if that's the case, I would still pick it. But then I'd
you get home quicker to poop.
Well, that for sure. But then you just start pooping in more exotic locations. You just add to your Rolodex all the time, bro.
I still got to go with you. 100%. Yeah. Where you use the restroom.
Yeah.
Hands down is the winner of the question.
Now,
ding, ding, ding.
How weird would it be if nobody knew what we were doing exactly, and you tell people that you meet, like, yeah, I'm just adding to my teleport locations. What are you talking about? Doctor Who? What are you talking about?
It's bigger on the inside.
All right, man, that's a great question. I enjoyed that. Okay, thank you, Blinder, for OBZ. Might be a bit of a rabbit hole question.
Okay.
So we can kind of explore it just a little bit.
Okay.
Is it possible that your brain is telling you what you're seeing and your eyes are actually lying to you?
100%.
And if that's possible, can we really trust?
No.
Oh, well, that was fast.
Can't trust your brain.
Okay. Here's an interesting conundrum.
Okay.
I ordered a brown vest and a brown shirt.
And it came blue with gold trim.
Well, to me, it looks brown. The shirt's checkered, and the vest is solid.
Okay.
So when I put it on, I'm like matching, brown. And to me, in my eyes, that's what it looks like. I got to the church that afternoon, and one of the ladies was like, "Oh, it's a nice vest. It's very good. It's a nice hue of green." It's like, green? What are you talking about?
You're colorblind.
So when everybody started gathering around, I kept asking people, like, what color is my vest? And like half of them,
bro, you're stupid. Why are you asking me this?
half of them said greenish, like a green hue.
Huh.
And it could have been the light. It could have been a number of things. But it's interesting that we can see the same thing and dramatically see something different.
Yeah.
So what if it's like that with a lot of stuff? Like, what if what we're seeing is not what it actually is?
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time.
You think so?
Always.
Okay.
So your brain tries to receive things that your eyes are seeing.
Right.
And
well, it decodes it.
Decodes it, basically.
Yeah, your eyes send you images.
It's upside down, actually.
Yes,
and
that's
your
correct.
brain flips it around the right way.
Right. Or maybe the back of your eye flips
something
it.
like that.
Yep.
Anyways, so there's a very interesting theory that the mind, when people say the mind plays tricks on you.
Right.
Well, it actually does.
Okay.
And I forget what it's called. You would bring this question up.
Yep.
Because I had this as a ponder
Interesting.
in the next couple of episodes.
Okay. No more.
Well, you ruined it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And I don't remember it well enough to recite it.
Okay.
But there's a condition that when your brain sees something like, say you thought you saw a ghost.
Right.
You saw something.
Okay.
Most definitely. Your brain just couldn't decipher what it was.
Interesting. Remember the Matrix whenever they kind of like tear back the veil and everything that was a solid item is now just lines of code?
Yeah.
And what if that's what we're looking at? Just a bunch of lines of code.
Well, all we are is just a computer simulation anyways.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. Yeah. That's good. It's an interesting question.
It really is. And you can get into some funky conspiracy theories / origination theories and all sorts of just craziness on that.
I will say simulation theory trips me out.
Yeah.
It's strange to think about.
Freaky deaky Dutch. No do to boot it. But your mind is a crazy thing.
Yes, it is. And we don't know much about the mind.
No.
That's something that's really bizarre.
Like, you can literally scare yourself to death.
Yeah. Gosh, wouldn't that be horrible?
Yeah, you
Can you
can.
imagine?
That is a condition where you can scare yourself into a heart attack.
Yep.
As people that have skydived and they didn't think the parachute was going to open,
Right.
have freaked out to the point where they have a heart attack and
Wow. I think I'd freak out just getting out of the airplane. Like,
Well,
I might have a heart attack just trying to get out of the
that's why I'm
stupid
going to
airplane.
kick you out of it, and we're going to do this.
If you make me do that, I'm going to die on the way down. Like, I'll have a heart attack and die.
That's fine. We'll have 10,000 subscribers at that point, anyways. It doesn't matter. What do
you mean it doesn't
now a
matter?
50-50
show's
split
over.
is a hundo.
That's funny. Dude, we're going long already, so let's get out of here and let's go do a little
That's what
Pastor
she
and the
said.
Heathen. It's not what she said at all.
The Pastor and the Heathen.
Kind of had the Freddie Mercury thing going on there.
And I shut it off like a maestro, bro.
They were watching you.
I know.
Their brains were tricking them. All right. Pastor and the Heathen, the last time that we're using, well, at least the last time in this particular strand of questions, we're going to use Miss Merch Mogul's questions that she sent in.
Yes.
So she got on a tangent, apparently, and watched a bunch of TikTok videos on the deconstructing Christianity side of TikTok. And she's like, oh, that's a good point. I'll ask. And she sent like 5 questions.
Yep.
So we've been tackling those.
So we're doing our Merch Mogul series.
There you go. And
Pastor and the Heathen.
it's the last one today. And this is actually one of my favorites. It's a good question. And I'm going to go down a kind of a little rabbit hole on it. And hopefully you guys don't get bored. So just bear with us.
If you get bored, skip forward a little bit. Nobody likes to listen to Pinewood anyways.
All right. Let's have it.
All right. So the question is, why did God need to create a man, kill, and torture him in front of his mother to save us? Why couldn't he just do it?
So the second question, why couldn't he just do it? I think she's trying to say, like, why couldn't he just snap his fingers and it'd be done? Like, we'd be saved or whatever. Okay. Do you want to wade into this first? I mean, I kind of know where you're coming from your side. So.
I have a very comical point, and I think it is the ultimate public display of affection. Just God's PDA in it right there with Jesus.
Oh, I got you. I'm with you now.
I love you, son. Smite.
That's a good point. You could also argue that Jesus is displaying his love through that act.
Smite me, almighty smiter.
I mean, it's a very bloody PDA, but it's, it's there. I don't kink shame. Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting. I like that.
It's rough because he knows everything.
Right.
And we touched on this. He's
last week. Yep.
Omnipotent and omniscient.
Yep.
Omniscient. So he knew this was going to happen, and maybe he just made a clone. He's like, it doesn't really have any feelings anyways, so whatever.
That's hilarious. So he made a bot.
It's just my Earth bot.
My Earth bot. It's the God bot.
God bot 2.
The God bot. Oh, Lord. Lord, I apologize.
I just pray about it. It'll be all right. So, I really like this question.
Okay.
Because it makes you think.
Of course. That's the whole point.
I think the whole point of the question is he did that to show his love for humanity and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to kill my kid so you'll love me.
Okay.
I mean, it's a tale as old as time.
Well, it's true. So let me touch on that real quick before I kind of dive into my answer.
Okay.
If you look at Scripture as archetypal stories, so not necessarily as quote unquote the gospel, like it literally happened the way it happened, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But more like humanity's archetype of stories.
Sure.
The sacrifice of the son is literally one of the oldest stories in Scripture. We have Abraham and Isaac, or Abraham and Isaac, and
we touched on that one too.
Yeah, we did, and that story would have been told for thousands of years before that, if we're going with this archetypal story.
Right.
So the ideology of sacrificing your son for someone else or for everybody else would be the ultimate show of love, or the ultimate PDA.
The ultimate.
Which is pretty
Public.
funny.
Just I love you so much. I love you so much, people.
Right.
I'm going to take my own son.
Right.
He's going to harvest all your sins.
Right.
And then I'm going to collect that like some beautiful pantheon god.
You're so silly.
That just has to harvest.
Okay. So
maybe he grows off of people's sins. Has anybody looked into that one?
I don't think that's right. Like he gets bigger every time somebody sins. It's kind of like every time something dies, an angel gets his wings or whatever.
Yeah.
Every time somebody sins, Jesus gets a little bit bigger.
And he gets a little bit bigger because they're going to pray about it, or they won't.
That's so silly.
And then somebody else is going to pray for him. So it's just a compounding interest.
Gosh. Well, you really took it to a bad place.
Anyways, proceed with where you were going.
Okay. All right. So the archetypal story for me is a good place to start for people who don't believe. Mm-hmm. Look, it's a story. It's showing the fact that God loves us deeply and immensely. Even if it didn't literally happen the way that you're saying it did, the story is there's something out there that loves us immensely and with sacrifice.
Nice parable.
Okay, good. I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Oh, beautiful.
Remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about in the very beginning, Jesus or God looks around and he says, we're going to make man in our image. Mm-hmm. So he's talking to somebody.
Pantheon.
Okay, it's the pantheon of the greats or whatever you want to call it. He's really talking to the Trinity, or at least that's what Christianity believes. So he's talking to Jesus then. So the theory would be that he knows and Jesus knows.
So he was talking to Jesus up there in the nethers.
Yep.
So Jesus is one of the pantheon. He's probably a lesser.
He's definitely not a lesser.
So
we talked about this 3 weeks ago. We don't need to revisit it, bro.
Okay, fair enough. Go.
He's there. He's in the Trinity. So they know what's going to happen. Humanity messes up. Adam and Eve fall, blah, blah, blah. We have this whole redemption story up to the New Testament. God sends Christ. He lives a perfect life. Now, here's the kicker. He didn't just kill his son. He killed the perfect lamb. He lived in perfection. He did not sin. And in his death, all sin attached to him, and he conquered death. That's kind of the theological implications. Okay, here's a question. Danny asks, Marshmallow asked, why would he do this and not just snap his fingers, right?
Sure.
Okay, there's a wonderful, I hate to even use this word because you're going to latch on it. There is a parable that was written by a 19th century philosopher named Kierkegaard. And wonderful stuff, and writes a lot of great things. But this is probably one of my favorite things that he wrote. So let me just read it real quick.
Okay.
So suppose there was a king who loved a humble maiden. The king was like no other king. Every statesman trembled before his power. No one dared breathe a word against him, for he had the strength to crush all opponents. And yet this mighty king was melted by love for a humble maiden. How could he declare his love for her? In an odd sort of way, his very kingliness tied his hands. If he brought her to the palace and crowned her head with jewels and clothed her body in royal robes, she would surely not resist him, and no one resisted him. But would she love him? She would say she loved him, but would she truly love him? Or would she live with him in fear, nursing a private grief for the life that she had left behind? Would she be happy at his side, and how would he ever know if she was truly happy? Or he could ride to the forest cottage in his royal carriage with an armed escort waving bright banners that would overwhelm her. He did not want a cringing subject. He wanted a lover, an equal. He wanted her to forget that he was a king and she a humble maiden, and to let shared love cross over the gulf between them. For it's in only love that the unequal can be made equal. The king, convinced he could not elevate the maiden without crushing her freedom, resolved to descend. He clothed himself as a beggar and approached her cottage incognito, with a worn cloak fluttering loosely about him. It was no disguise. It was a new identity he took on. He renounced the kingship to win her hand. So he comes off of his throne, becomes a beggar, and tries to win the love of the maiden. So obviously, in the parable, the king is God. We're the maiden. So he loves us. Now, this is attuned to spiritual rape. And I use that with a harsh term, because imagine if God forced you to worship him. If he just showed up in his brilliance with thunder and lightning behind him and angels singing on his shoulders, and he said, you have to love me. Well, is that really love or is that coercion?
I mean, depending on what the band's playing.
I
might be like, hell yeah. I like this guy. I'm a roadie. I'm a roadie.
But see, there and again, you like him because of something. Not because he loves you and you want to love him. It's because of something.
Fair.
Because that's the point. Okay. In the New Testament, in Matthew 13, there's another parable. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in the field. When a man finds it, he hides it again. And then in his joy, he goes and he sells all that he has and he buys the field. So theologically speaking, a man goes out and he finds a field and he sells everything because it's precious to him. Now, I was taught growing up that we're the man and we find Christ. And then we sell everything we have so we can buy him, buy salvation. Does that make sense? We want to do everything we can to make sure we have that precious whatever.
Sure.
But I've been introduced lately to another theory on this parable, that instead of man finding the precious item, it's actually God that finds us. And we're so precious to him that he will give up everything and anything to make sure that he wins us over.
Yeah. On the flip side of that coin,
Yep.
I can see how a very eloquent speaker can create a cult.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's that verse right there.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. God isn't interested in having a cult following.
But isn't he?
Not really. I would definitely argue against that. I mean, what is cultish about it?
I mean, he wants everybody.
He desires everybody
Desires everybody.
to love him and to be wrapped in grace and salvation through Christ.
Yes.
Yep. But but the point of the
So
first
is he
parable,
the ultimate cult leader.
no, there's no coercion. That's the whole point. There's no coercion. It has to be freely accepted. And that's the archetypal story of
But
Christ.
is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it freely? Because
Sure.
it's love me
It's not love me. It's not love me. It's believe.
or believe in
Yep.
me
That's it. That's all it is.
or burn forever.
Yeah, but see,
Whatever.
that's not the choice. That's a false choice, and I believe that is a lie that we've made to throw wrenches in the ideology and theology of God in Christ.
Okay.
So you and I, without him, we're already damned. We're already going there, and he offers a way out. So that's not an ultimatum. He's saying, look, here's the off ramp, and all you have to do is believe, and you can get off on the off ramp.
Okay.
There's no coercion there. There's no ultimatum there. It's just a choice.
Fair enough.
Now, I know, again, as we've said over and over in this segment, if you want to really nitpick and poke holes, you can. Absolutely.
Sure.
And I love to go back to the idea that these stories, these parables, even Jesus living, breathing, dying for our sins, blah, 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 that even if it's not literally true, it didn't literally happen that way, it doesn't mean that there is no God or he doesn't have our best interests at heart. The story is beautiful. That him coming to us for salvation or giving us salvation through grace is a beautiful story.
Sure.
Now, of course, I'm in the camp that it did happen. It's true. I need to clarify that.
Your job kind of depends on that.
It does.
one.
I'm not skating around that at all. But even as a beginning, reaching over the aisle to non-believers, man, I think that's a wonderful first step. That this story is a wonderful story.
Yeah.
And if it's true, then we need to be more open to that mindset.
Be happy about it.
Yeah. Now, to really answer her question, why did he send his son? And I like the part where he's tortured in front of his mom. And that's true, because Mary's there the whole time and then helps take him down, gets him buried. I mean, she's there the whole time.
Yep.
But remember, Joseph died early on in Jesus' life. We have no mention of him after he grows up. So Joseph probably died. So his dad's not around. So Jesus is actually taking care of his mom because he was the oldest child.
Right.
So he was in charge of his mother.
His younger brother, Craig.
Yeah, old Craig and
Christ.
and Jerry Christ. Yeah, they couldn't hack it. So and don't forget, Jesus had siblings. He wasn't the only one. So several times in Scripture we see his half brothers and sisters gripe at him, like, "This guy's crazy, Mom. Why are you following him around?" It's pretty interesting. But anyway, he was in charge of taking care of her. That's why she's there.
Gotcha.
So
I liked it, man.
yeah, I do too. It's good
This is
stuff.
a good question.
Yep.
And Danny, we greatly appreciate everything you've done for
Absolutely.
this podcast, especially these questions.
Yep. And I will say these are some of the questions that we definitely dive into in Hidden Revival sometimes.
Yes.
So the conspiratorium question, and we talk about this stuff, and we can talk about it a little more also.
Yes.
We're already long today. So let's do a couple of updates and some ponders, and
Cool.
We'll take it to the
Get
house.
on out.
All right.
We got some news updates for you today.
Updates are about the same. Not very many. Nothing really changed. Make sure you go out and get you some made-up holiday juice for your
I'm
spouse.
going to need you to
What?
elongate this for 2 seconds.
Okay.
My eyeballs are floating.
Okay.
It's one of the The necessary evils of doing live.
You could have just done it. I would have covered for you, bro.
Well, the people's on the YouTube are like, where the hell did he go?
What are you going to talk about?
I'm letting you know.
All right, so a couple things to remember. Good Pods is out there. We're on that new podcasting platform. So what we asked you to do is just go over there, download that app. I know it's another app, but it's a good app, and we've really enjoyed it. And it's a wonderful way to find other podcasts as well as enjoy ours. They also have a great ranking system. You can go in there, you can listen to our episodes, and every time you listen to an episode, you just throw on the 5 stars and make sure we get a good review. And every listen bumps us up in the categories. And so if you would do that for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. We mentioned Patreon a couple of times in the show. We don't want to harp on Patreon, but if you do want to support the show, you can go over there, and that means the world to us. There's 2 tiers. There's a $5 tier, $20 tier for now. You get an extra podcast. You get some great discount on merch. We have some cool merch coming up. And as last week we pointed out, we have a wonderful guy that did some new designs for us. His name's Brandon. We'll put all of his information in the description. He does cool graphic design work. If you need anything like that, you can give him a shout, give him an email, and he'll be able to hook you up. He's done some great work for us, and we're really excited about launching those new merch items. Don't forget Eccentric Brewing. If you're ever in Midland, Texas, or you live down there, it's for sure if you live down there, go see these guys. Go get you a cold beer and tell them that Fraternize with these guys sent you. We're going to work on a way where you can digitally get a coin or something.
Yes.
Some sort of logo or whatever we're going to do, and you can redeem it for a beer at Eccentric.
I think it's going to be a QR code.
Okay, and so that will allow them to know that you listen to the show, you support us, and therefore you're going to support that business. And they've signed on for the full year, and man, we're really excited to have them. And thank you to all those guys down there. And as of last week, one of them had a birthday. So
yes.
Anyway, I want to say we've got some cool stuff coming up. And
we do.
New stuff, new, bigger, badder, better, and we're going to...
Orion's belt.
We're going to add in the forge and the spinnery and, all kinds of stuff. We got to get that D9 dozer. I mean, we got all kinds of cool stuff happening. So just invite you to come along with us.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the show if you haven't. Go back and listen to some of the back episodes. You could start about number 5. Maybe don't listen to the first 4. Every time I go back, if I listen to them, it's a little cringy.
No, you go back. It's humble beginnings.
It's very humble beginnings.
And that's the thing that me and you have discussed. Being avid podcast listeners,
right,
is we'll catch the most recent few episodes, but we're always going to jump back to the very beginning to see how it's progressed, because that's definitely something that has to do with how well a podcast is doing.
I agree.
Is they're maturing.
Right. And, if you go back and listen to early Rogan, it's almost, some of it's unlistenable.
It's boring.
It's really bad.
Holy shit. All he does is talk about, hey, man, you ever done DMT? I mean, he still does that, but not so frequently.
It's a lot better now than it was. So it's cool to see that progression. Obviously, we're not comparing ourselves to Joe Rogan's podcast, but it's still cool to see our progression, even within a year. I think we did some pretty cool stuff.
DMT.
We should talk about that next week. So anyway, thank you to everyone, and thank you to the OGs, the original guys, the people that have been here from the very beginning. I tell you, the people that have loved us from the beginning, have been on Patreon from the beginning, they've been rock solid.
Yes,
I wish I could convey how much I appreciate.
I'm going to give them all a shout.
Okay. With a thumbs up. Nice.
Hang on, we're going to do, because they're probably watching it on the YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Nice.
We won't kill you. But we got Logan, Pirate Hunter Sean.
Yep.
I guess we'll back it up.
Okay.
Austin Snow White,
there
Logan.
You go. Yep.
The Pirate Hunter Sean. The Merch Mogul.
Yep.
And Nurse Ashley.
That's right.
From the very beginning. From the very beginning, you guys have supported us, and you've been here the entire way, and we can't thank you enough for what you've done for us.
Hell, we'll make you an apron. Or we'll make them an apron.
Shit. We'll get you an Orion's belt.
Orion's belt and an O'Brien's apron.
No, O'Brien's apron and Orion's belt.
All right, last but not least, thank you to our wives for allowing us to do this. We appreciate you guys. We love all of you. Thank you so much for listening to this. Let's do some ponder. We'll get on out here.
All right, Dan. Ponder this. There is a 1 in roughly 5.2 to the 61st power chance that if you were to slap your hand on the table, all of the molecules in your hand and the table would miss each other and your hand would go through it.
It didn't work that time.
No.
How many more times we got to do it?
Shitload. Well, ladies and germs, that is going to do it for episode 59 of Fraternize with These Guys. I'm Beezy the Heathen.
I am Pastor Pinewood.
Oh, wow.
That was good.
Stay plumpable, friends. And remember, if you happen to see a random ass monkey roaming the neighborhood, shoot that bitch because it's probably carrying gonna herpesificovids. And at the very least, don't have sex with it.
Cheers. Bro, why did you go to having sex with it? What was that? Well, how was that necessary?
That,
If you see a COVID monkey out there, I don't think anybody in the right mind is going to be thinking, oh, yeah, I'd mess around with that guy.
here's the deal. You wouldn't think that.
It's true.
But in our current affairs, it seems to be people are fucking with things. They shouldn't be.
Like that lady with an open sore going up to the monkey.
Why are you going to go up to an open, just a monkey cage in general?
Right.
You know they throw poop.
It's true.
Everybody knows that. They teach you that in like third grade.
That it?
That's all I got.
I thought you were making some sort of grand point.
That was my grand point. Stay away from monkeys.